go-to. I didn't really have anybody to go to when I started this career. And so we want to be a resource for you guys. We want to be able to have open conversations, like just have some candor. We're going to sit down, we're going to relax, and we're just going to talk to you guys how anybody else would. So I'm going to let my partners introduce themselves, and then we'll get started.
Hi, I am Cinnamon Basco. I already recognize a couple faces, and I love that. I work for City of Costa Mesa. I've been there for almost 19 years, and this is a fantastic job, and I'm so excited to see so many women here. And gentlemen, you're totally welcome, because the way the fire service works best is when we're all working together, not when it's us and them. But because we have so few women, we're trying to bring up those numbers. We have to really target them.
Melissa Kelly, I work for LA City Fire, as you can tell, because I'm wearing the uniform today. I have 23 years on, and I now work in recruitment. And so this is really something near and dear to me. So ask away.
I want to add one thing, because I want to talk about all the things. I'm a mom, I'm married, I have 3 kids, 16, 14, and just about to be 7. So I was pregnant on the job, did all the things, maternity leave, all of it. So I want to talk about all of it. We go in strike teams. I've been on a 21-day assignment. You're gonna hear all of it. We're women, we have cycles, we gotta deal with things, okay? So we're not gonna hold back from anything, we're gonna talk about it all, because again, like Melissa said, we don't want you guys to deal with the mistakes that we made, or, you know, it's not necessarily a mistake, the learning curve that we had to, because every opportunity that we maybe fall short is an opportunity to learn and exceed the next time, okay? So we're gonna hit it off, you guys are gonna drive this, ask any question. Who's gonna start?
So every department is different in what they require and how you get hired, but there's a big separation from larger departments like Long Beach, LA City, LA County, Orange County, San Bernardino, and the smaller departments.
Hired, but see, we say it's 18 high school diploma valid driver's license to apply. To get hired is a whole nother story, and that's what we're really here to talk to you about.
So you'll need your EMT, you need to be alive, you need a driver's license. And so for a bigger department, that's all you really need, is basically just a will to do it. But coming to these things and understanding what happens on the fire ground is so important for your success. So definitely go to any of these, talk to other people, do ride-alongs, understand what the job is about and the culture. That's going to help you out a lot. In a smaller department, in a smaller department, you need to go through your own academy before you go. You also need an EMT. And all the other things. The heartbeat is really helpful. And
Some are paramedic.
Some are paramedics.
Depending on the department. So each department is going to have the criteria for application on that job flyer. It's going to tell you exactly what you need. But starting at ground zero, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Starting at ground zero, really EMT is going to be a basic that you need to do. Before you even can go to paramedic school, you have to have a year part-time or 6 months full-time as an EMT. You have to have those hours under your belt before you can even apply. That's great, because you also need that job experience. You need to understand what happens in the back of the ambulance. You need to understand you're not giving medications, but what your paramedic partner is going to need and how to facilitate that. That's going to be a great experience for when you go to apply for a job, okay? And then you're also going to want to start working out. Physical fitness is a huge part of this job. I'm going to say my spiel and everyone else can chime in, but I love CrossFit. Okay, I know I said it, but it's for me, it's the only thing.
So physical therapist?
Yeah, right, they do. But it's the only thing for me that really emulated getting your heart rate really high, having a short recovery, and doing the same things we do on a fire. It also teaches you proper body mechanics, as long as you're not going crazy and injuring yourself. But learning, right? Just learning proper body mechanics are going to be great. Lifting heavy weights is also going to be great for you, because you're going to have to start lifting heavy things, push and pull, drags. A lot of different things that you're going to need for on-the-job training. So if you can understand proper body mechanics, it's going to help you prevent injuries in the future, help you have more longevity through your career, okay? So those are a couple other things.
Yeah, so when I started, I was talking to other people, and some people made the mistake of trying to get like cardiovascular fit, and they would just do runs. Many departments require a run, so you have to be able to do like a mile and a half.
Mile and a half under 10:35.
Yeah, so that's a common set point there. But also the bigger thing for actually the work that you're doing is carrying heavy things upstairs and being able to do upper body work. So don't just run on a treadmill or go out on the streets. You need to do stair climbs. You need to actually get into a stairwell and do some sprints, weights in your hands, upper body stuff. And if you reach out to us or you're curious, we've all gone through it, and we can give you some advice on what areas you need to focus on. So aside from the academy, before that you have to take college courses to get into the academy. And so if you want to go that route, what I was doing when I was trying to figure stuff out was I just kept taking one step at a time, kept looking into it. If I ended up at a big department without an academy, that would have been fine with me, but until I got to that point, I was going to take the academy, so I knew. So I just wanted to, every day I was like, what am I doing to be a firefighter today?
And I will say, you don't need the academy to apply a lot of places, but I've seen people enter without an academy, and I've seen people enter with an academy. And if you already have one, it's just going to give you a leg up and not seeing things for the first time. You're not throwing a ladder for the first time because you've already developed it and you figured out how you can best throw it with your body mechanics. So it just gives you a level up. You don't need it. They will teach you. They're going to do crawl, walk, run, right? They're going to start from the very, very basics, and they'll get you there. But if you want to give yourself a little boost of confidence, a little leg up, you can definitely go that route or keep working till that route and still apply.
Yeah.
You guys in this room can be applying right now. Who has turned in an application?
We are.
Oh, I should see every hand in this room. Everyone's over 18, right? So I should see every hand in this room. There's a good reason for that too. When you applied, did you get hired on your first application? No. Okay, anyone else? No, me neither. Guess what? Me neither. Did you get hired on your first application? No?
Definitely not.
Okay, so the application is a skill. The interview is a skill. Okay? The background investigation, I'm also a background investigator. That's a skill. So you guys should be applying now to get that experience under your belt and see how you can refine and adapt and change things so you can be better for the next process. So when it's Long Beach and you want Long Beach, you're like, I know I'm gonna get this because I've already prepared myself, all right?
So what I always tell people is start with EMT. 90% of the calls we go on are medical. If you do not like being an EMT, you will hate being a firefighter. So don't even try. The physical and all that stuff is clearly an issue. Okay. The other thing about becoming an EMT as soon as possible is my suggestion, because I'm very specific. I'm very detail oriented, and you'll notice that firefighters are this way. So you need to start becoming that way as well. So I like specifics. I don't like to be told what to do in theory, because I was like a rebel, you know? But I actually love being told specifics. If I know how to make you happy, I'm gonna do it, right? Just tell me what to do, I'll do it. I wanted this job so bad. When I decided I wanted to be a firefighter, when I thought, oh my gosh, girls do this, I could try, I signed up for a firefighting literally 101 class. It was hands-on, it was rolling out hose, I was like around ladders, I was like, woo, yeah. Same thing where I put on turnouts and I was like, I'm getting chills thinking about it right now. I would love
There's
to.
so different colleges, and we had someone here from Long Beach City College. I think they left the room, but so Santa Ana can give you a PT prep course just like that Fire 101 that Melissa's talking about. Look at your local community colleges.
It's called an 08B class.
Yeah.
It's in Anna College.
Well, also, I was just gonna say that as an EMT class, sign up for one at a junior college. It's the cheapest way to do it. It has the best length and the right cost. If you do it at a junior college and then you go one step further, where you go to a junior college that has a fire academy, then you're in the class with people that have the same goals as you. When I decided I wanted to be a firefighter, besides signing up for that class, there was like this short-haired girl I remember, and she was carrying a gallon water jug. Now this was like almost 30 years ago, okay? This is a long time ago, before cell phones, pagers, all of it, you know? And I thought, what the hell is this girl carrying a gallon water jug for? I want to hang around with her. So the point is you take an EMT class at a college that has a fire science degree program, then you're in class with people that have the same goals as you. You need to change your backyard, you need to change your playmates. Okay, you start hanging around with people that have the same goals as you start working out together, you start sharing information together, you start applying together. When I decided I wanted to be a firefighter, I signed up for that, I took an interview prep class, I got hired with CAL FIRE. I was a firefighter for the state of California. I fought brush fires. That's 4 days in a row, 96 hours, and then you have 3 days off for seasons. you're a firefighter for a season. On the off season, I got paid unemployment, right? And then I went to school during the off season of firefighting. I was hanging out with all those people. I was getting physically fit. And then as far as the physical fitness part goes, also, besides taking classes, I actually got CAL FIRE to sponsor me to go to a fire academy. Fire academies can be very expensive. They want to charge you $1,000 to borrow their gear. If you become a cadet for like LA City, for example, we send you to paramedic school. We sponsor you to go to Firefighter 1 academies with your gear. Okay? Think about stuff like that. LA City, for example, and believe me, I live in Long Beach, by the way. Let me just start with that. I live in Long Beach. Once I decided that I wanted to be a firefighter, I started applying everywhere. I applied 35 to 45 different places over 5 years before I got hired. Okay? Everybody thinks like, white dudes come up to me in the past and they're like, well, I always wanted to be a firefighter since I was a little kid. How many applications did you turn in? 1. This is BS. All over the United States. And this is before the internet, so I had to drive to pick up an application, type it on my typewriter in my passenger seat,
A
and then
typewriter
turn it
is
back
a device that we used to have.
Women can do this job. We have as much right to be here as anybody else, and sometimes it just takes us longer to figure out how. Okay,
One component, I think that sometimes it takes women a little bit longer to figure out how. I think a lot of it is self-confidence.
Yeah.
And so something else that I want you to focus on from day one is mindset. I want you guys to listen to the podcast. I want you guys to read the books. I want you guys to develop a healthy and positive mindset of the things that you are bringing to this job, the things that you are contributing. I had a safe surrender of twins. And I was able to talk to that mother. I was able to ask her if she wanted to go in the other room. I asked her if I could pray with her. She said yes. Okay? But I went in there and I met the adoptive parents. She called me and said, hey, I picked adoptive parents. They want to meet you. I'm still in touch with those adoptive parents today, and my son FaceTimes them every year on their birthday. And they live on the East Coast, okay? So, not that the men weren't valuable in that, but there's a connection that I provided to that mom, woman to woman. We have rape victims. We have domestic violence victims. There are things that there are things that we can offer on calls. So I want you guys to start developing that mindset of what you're contributing. Because you're going to hear a lot of other things about what you're not contributing, what you're not good at, how you don't measure up here. I want you to drown out the noise, okay? I want you to focus on what you bring to the table. I want you to be confident in what you bring to the table. One thing that we need to focus on across the board is competency, okay? We're not going to get here by just getting lucky one day and throwing the ladder and getting it right on test day. No, we need to perfect it every single day in and out, so when it's test day, there's no question, right? So competency.
Yeah, it was the first one there and the last one to leave.
Yep.
You know, if they said they gave the option if you could stay over every day at the academy. When I went to the fire academy, it was 19 weeks for LA City, and it was 6 days a week. Saturdays were optional. Okay, but if I was the only girl, 49 guys. I was the only one that could have hair. They made all the guys shave their head. I tried to shave my head. They said, do not do it. It's considered an extreme haircut. I just wanted to fit it. I just wanted them to not see me in a crowd. You know what I mean? And it's not like I wanted to have a G.I. Jane moment. I was like trying, you know, I mean, I probably was a little bit. But the other thing that I would just say before we like move on, as far as physical fitness, all of it is like obvious. Just get your hands on stuff. I wanted to work for Long Beach. I grew up in Long Beach. Long Beach was my number one. You see, that didn't work out for me because my first physical agility test ever was during the testing process. The first time I ever touched a ladder was taking the Biddle for Long Beach, and I failed it. I picked it a lot, I can't believe that that's the specific thing you guys are gonna do today, that like, I was like, oh, because I went to go pick it up, it just fell on the ground. I don't know what a balance point was, I didn't know what was what, you know. So just touching the equipment. I was taught manners. Girls are made of sugar and spice and everything nice. My grandma was very like, eat your cookies and like come back after, you know, whatever. And when I decided I wanted to be a firefighter, you have to pick up a rotary saw that weighs 75 pounds. It's not, it's, you know? So get that mindset, what she's talking about. And then just specifically, because I am a specific gal, start thinking about heat workouts. Everybody could talk about freaking CrossFit and running and weights and weight vests. In my day, there was no weight vest, so I went to the Chinese grocery store, sorry, but that's what it was. And I got 10-pound bags of rice, put it in backpacks, and filled that thing up with bags of rice. Okay, and that was my weight vest. And so I would run the stairs at the stadium. But the other thing is when I say heat workouts, I mean when it's hot, go work out. Don't wait till it's evening time, till the sun goes down, till it's comfortable. Get used to being very uncomfortable. That means in a room where you're the only girl. That means everywhere. Get used to being very uncomfortable and sit in it.
Feel free to wear long shirts and not pull up your sleeves, just take it and push past it. Because I'm always like, when I play basketball, I pull up my sleeves, and that's not.
Well, I always make a joke, like it's not time to go to the gym in like the cutest like Lululemon outfit with a tank top and like some shorts. It's time to go to the gym in like a zip up hooded sweatshirt with the hood on. Once a week, I try and do like a heat workout. Maybe not right now, because let's be honest. But you know, when I'm training, I try and do like one heat workout at least a week, because I've had people fail out of the academy for overheating. Okay, it's not a joke. So get used to weight on your shoulders. When you're trying to lift your arms above your head and you have a backpack on, holding your shoulders down, that's a problem. Okay, the first time I experienced it was in a biddle. That you don't want that to be you, and luckily you're gonna solve that problem today.
I put sand in a backpack instead of getting rice. Just
Oh,
another option.
that's good.
Another
That's
option.
good. That's good.
For me, I think, and for most women, I will say ladders and hose, I think, are the two hardest evolutions. And then for our specific tower, it's Rick Week. Rick Week is very, very demanding. We lose a lot of people on Rick Week, both men and women.
What's Rick?
Oh, good, thanks.
Forget.
So we have a rapid intervention crew, or it could be rapid intervention team. So if we have a fire, one engine company is going to be designated as a RIC crew, group, or team, depending on the acronym your department uses. And our sole function, when you're assigned that, is to rescue fallen firefighters. So if they get injured or trapped inside that building, we go in and we save our brothers and sisters. So you have to be able to drag, pull. So you're carrying people that are in full gear, turnouts, with a bottle on. You're figuring out how to pull them upstairs, downstairs, out a window when they're incapacitated. So that's a week that gets a lot of people in our tower. That's very physically demanding. So again, those heavy lifting workouts, push-pulls, are going to be something that's really going to help you. The other thing for ladders, I think it's just more, women don't have as much upper body strength naturally, and I think it's the wingspan as well. Doesn't help us depending on our height, but it is all technique. So you can definitely overcome it. Once you figure out the technique that works for you, and I know mine and we can tell you ours, once you do that and you find that technique, it becomes really easy, and now they're one of my favorite things and I actually teach them. But it wasn't, I can't have a man that's 6'4" telling me just throw it like this, because it didn't work for me to just throw it like that, right? So I had to figure out how to bump up where I needed to be, and then how I throw ladders with my butt is what I say, okay? Powerhouse muscles, all right? So you're gonna use your quads, your hammies, your glutes, and I literally shot put it, okay? So that's what works for me. And everyone's gonna have a little bit of a different technique, slightly, but those are things that are typically more challenging for women. And again, Cinnamon here probably didn't have a challenge with ladders because she's...
So, like Andrew said, women do not create upper body muscle the way that men do. And so when I first started, I did. It was a challenge. But then I pushed, like I figured out how to get that muscle and I just kept it so it was easier afterwards. And like she's saying, you will adapt, you will create the muscle, you will get the muscle memory, you have to figure out the technique, you have to find somebody who has the similar issue that you do, and then tap into them. How did you get through that thing?
And that's what the Women's Fire Alliance is for.
Yes.
I'm ready to go. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, I wanted to say that just piggybacking on that, that's what I mean by women can do this job, just sometimes it takes us a little longer to figure out how. When I was in the academy, again, only girl, we had to do this weird thing, and it was 23 years ago, but we had to do this weird thing where we had to pick up an 80 or 100-pound ladder like this, and then we had to look through the window and then push it up, okay? I could not do that.
Do they still do that?
Yeah.
Do they still do that?
No.
I've seen some
City.
Yeah, so anyways,
Camino teaches
I
it because-
I failed it once, and then I had to do it again for my job, right? And I'm like, I cannot fail out of this academy. I will be mortified for everybody that said I couldn't do it. I had the attitude like, oh, you don't think I could do it? Watch this. You know what I mean? And I'd say develop that as another mental like strength. But I was there afterwards over and over. I just stayed. I think I was the last one there, and I finally figured out that I needed to pick it up, clean and jerk it, and then push it up. So you're gonna figure out a way. The problem is this: in the academy, you don't have time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this is why you said you're just starting out. Perfect. You know, and cut yourself some slack, but get your hands on things as much and as well as you can. And then just a little side note, LA City obviously is like ridiculously large, you know, and we have a lot of programs in place in recruitment. We had a female chief about 5 years ago that just was obsessed with creating like a pipeline. She made a whole bunch of things happen, girls camps, blah, 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 academies. Also, the Stentorians is our African American firefighter union. They have a museum in downtown LA, in like off Vernon or something, and they offer classes to anyone. I'm a Stentorian, okay? They offer classes, hands-on classes for firefighters, a lot, like often. I mean, COVID kind of messed things up, but they let you put on the gear, touch ladders. They have a 35-foot extension ladder, which weighs, all of our ladders are wooden. Long Beach is the same, yeah?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought Long Beach was the same. But anyways,
They've advanced.
oh.
I have a question.
What?
I have a question to touch on that. Who here is under 21? Just a couple?
Awesome.
Okay, for those that are under 21, looking to explore programs locally where you live.
Yeah,
That's
cadet
another
programs.
way, cadet programs or explorer programs, that's another way that you can get your hands on equipment, on turnouts, see what it looks like, learn ropes and knots, learn the basics for free. They usually meet a couple times in a month. They might have a couple extracurricular things on weekends. If you need any community service credits, you can get those through there as well. So those would be a good opportunity for you guys that are under the age of 18. If you get in with a department too, I started as an explorer. I was actually 19 when I started as an explorer. Then I was sponsored for my fire academy. I went to EMT, then I became a reserve firefighter. And then from there, they sponsored me for paramedic school. I went to paramedic school, and as soon as I finished paramedic school, I got a job. And so that was because I was an explorer with that department. So look into the cadets or explorer programs.
Apply. You, like, that's what I started to say is I went to Colorado, Nevada, Seattle, New York. I mean, I literally applied everywhere. The thing is when you have the big show, right? You're getting ready for the Olympics. You don't want to fail the test for the one that you want. I failed the test for Long Beach. You know what I mean? I was devastated, believe me. So practice, it's just like dating. Practice on departments you don't want to.
But you might find a department that you want to, and there might
Yeah.
be something that happens with LA City that drops you out for some reason. You don't want to wait for another 2 years to get back with them. And if you ended up getting hired, like let's say that you're with LA City and they're like, oh, we're having a big hiring freeze right now, and you're like,
Yes,
But
which
now-
has happened in the past.
but now you have 2 or 3 places that you've applied with, and somebody picks you up, and you really want to go there. Now when you go back to them, you have all this experience with you, and that's going to be so much easier for you than the first time.
So it's not uncommon, so I do backgrounds as well, so it's not uncommon that I have a candidate that comes through that has 2 other pending offers. So that's a good place to be in. So if they don't pass that background, they have other options, but them not passing that background might affect those other options. But so for us, and again,
It's also the modern, this is what's happening now.
yeah.
It used to be that it was impossible to get on. I mean,
It was easier to get an acting job than a fire job.
right, it was impossible to get on. The truth of the matter is people don't want to work for a living anymore. It's very difficult to recruit. And if you are a qualified, viable candidate, we are now in a position where we're fighting for you.
Yeah. So, and we're also doing that in different ways from the department standpoint. That's going to be through pay, benefits. When you're looking at a different department, as a woman who's gone through a pregnancy at a department, look at their MOU. Do anyone know what an MOU is? No? So that's a great place to start. It's called a memorandum of understanding. So that's gonna tell you how you get paid. That's gonna tell you how you can take time off. That's gonna tell you a lot of things about the department.
It's the personnel, the people on the floor, their agreement, their contract with the city.
Yes. And so that has to be negotiated for by your union. And that's also gonna be something that you're gonna wanna look at any department that you apply. You're gonna wanna know about your local union. You're gonna wanna know these things before you go in there. Before you go into selection interview or an oral interview, you wanna know a lot of these things so you can stand out from other candidates, okay?
Absolutely.
It's also a good idea to know the relationship between your fire personnel and the city or the fire admin, yeah. Because you don't wanna go to some place that's really toxic and you're stuck there just like constantly combating, and the pay you thought you were gonna have has actually been reduced, and the benefits you thought you had.
So an fire administration is gonna be like division chiefs, assistant chiefs, chiefs, and they're gonna manage the department.
They're the decision makers.
They're the decision makers of the department. Your union are people that you vote for, the firefighters on the floor vote for, that negotiate on your behalf, that protect you from anything that might impact your working environment, that might not be conducive for the firefighters. And if you have these two people and they don't get along, it's like mom and dad fighting all the time. It's not very fun, right? So that's a good way for you guys to kind of think about that one. When you look at the MOU or when you look at policies as well, if you guys are of childbearing age, if you guys plan on having kids, see if they have a pregnancy policy, see if they have a lactation policy, see if they have a paid maternity policy, which is coming from a lot of agencies. You want to set yourself up for the best 30 years of your life. Depending on how old you guys are going to 57. Know what your retirement looks like. You guys are going to be pep rep. So that's going to be different from where we are because we're classic members. So you guys have
a retirement formula.
Yeah, it's a retirement formula. So it might be confusing when you kind of start learning about it, but the more you kind of read about it and then you can hit anyone up with any questions that you have, it's going to make more sense. And so if you guys are here, if you guys are ready, if you guys are competent, you guys are ready to go, we should be putting in applications. We should be having resumes. Anyone have a resume here they want to show me today? Oh, I will take them. Yes, absolutely. I'll come get them right after this.
I don't have it printed.
Oh.
I can email you.
Okay.
I have it.
I have it in my head.
I'm going to type it out after this. Go ahead. Any other questions?
I do want to come back to your question. So the experience that I had that were more trying in the academy for me, or getting on the job, well, when I went through my basic academy, I had a tough time. Everything was new to me. This is a chainsaw. You got to pull it like this. I would pull it like that, and nothing would happen. And I was like, just kept doing the same thing the guys did, and nothing would happen. And I realized it's there's like a point where it pulls on you, and you have to sprint past it. And it's not necessarily a game of strength; it's a game of speed. And when it pulls against you, not slowing down, but continuing that pull. Mm-hmm. So I had issues like that.
Grip issues.
Grip issues was, yeah, I had to overcome that stuff. One other thing I had a tough time with, I had to learn is men socialize different than women, and they have no problem pushing people around to get in to see stuff and get their hands on tools. And so I was constantly being polite. Oh, you wanted to go in there because you stepped in front of me, go ahead, I'll go after you. I had to stop doing that because I wasn't getting time on the tools. So know what you're in, and know that if you don't have a background in this, your time on that tool may be more important than somebody who was a cadet or has already got experience, right? So don't push yourself back to be polite. It is important for you more than the other person, and that person should know it too. It's not being disrespectful.
It's okay to be assertive. It's okay to puff your chest out. It's okay to stand your ground. It's okay to box out. It's okay. Hey, I got this one. You can get the next one. Yeah. It's okay. All right, you guys. All right, you guys are all going to be competing for the same time. We're not going to be disrespectful. We're not going to be arrogant, but we're not going to be pushovers either. Okay. Yeah. So when you need that time, you're going to take that time. Hey, you had your turn. I'm going to go now. Yeah. That's okay to say, right? So we're going to be able to speak up, be confident, and I will say, like, this is a personality. This is a demeanor. I can be this way at home, but I'm definitely a lot more this way when I'm at work, when I have that uniform on. Like, I have no problem telling people what to do. I'm a captain. That's my job. So I will tell people what to do, what I need from them, and then we'll debrief, and I'll say, hey, what can I do better? And then I'll be polite, right? Then I'll take that criticism, okay? But my job at that time is to tell people where I need them and what I need them to do. So it's okay to be the boss. It's okay to take on that persona when you're at work.
Take space.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you have to learn every single thing. You have to be able to do everything a man does. That's the truth. That's the truth.
Yeah,
On
it's,
LA City, when I went through, you had to throw this 180-pound ladder two-person. You had to, or you could not pass. You had to jump into a air mattress, or you did not pass. These things have changed. The truth is you have to be able to do every single thing a man does. The problem is, or what I've found in my career, is that continues. I do not need the glory. I am not an egomaniac when it comes to firefighting. I love the team I like the team part. I don't care if I'm on the nozzle. I love it. It's the greatest thing ever. Have you ever squirted water out of a hose? It's the freaking greatest thing ever, okay? But I don't need the glory. I will pull hose for you all day long and you can have it. You can put the fire out, okay? Good for you, you know? But the thing is you have got to rise to the occasion. You must. It is required. It's not easier for women, it's harder. And that's just the truth. You're gonna have to work twice as hard for half the credit. Okay, that's the truth. Okay, but you can do it. And we are here to make that happen for you, okay? I will not stop until you guys, if you want it, I will match your effort with my effort 100%.
it is not doing what the men do, it's just doing the job.
Yeah.
The men
Yeah,
do the same
that's-
job that we do.
It's
Thank you
doing,
for that
yes,
explanation.
it's doing
You're
the
right.
job of a firefighter. One thing I wrote over there, government jobs. If you have filled out an application, you've created a government jobs account. If you haven't, you guys should start doing that. So then when the application opens, then you can apply very easily. It's not gonna be nearly as time consuming. One tip that I will give you is if you attach an application, a resume to government jobs, and you apply for that job, make sure it says the right department, okay? Because whatever one that you updated last, you want to work for San Bernardino County, and then you apply at Long Beach. And then it's gonna say, oh, I want to work for San Bernardino County, and they're like, yeah, never mind, bye. And so just pay attention to detail, things like that.
I was a cross-country runner, track runner, and a figure skater. Okay, so I had real strong legs.
As many.
I know, it's hard to
Yeah,
are.
Yes.
Right,
Tap
yes.
dancers, you know.
I honestly, like I was talking about applying everywhere. It was the first, they came to the school and said that they were hiring. They came and recruited, and it was the first resume, or it was the first interview that I took, and I was just taking whatever I could take, you know. It's a great idea. There was a lot more women in CAL FIRE. Back in the day, I think 1 in 7 was a woman when I got up, that a long time ago. Because you're hiking hills, you're fighting fires different. It's a different kind of firefighting. It also pays shit, I'll be honest. I made $1,007 a month. I worked 96 hours a week.
It's hard work, but it's
But that was
invaluable.
fun.
And
It's the greatest.
It's also great experience. So a lot of departments have wildland programs as well. It doesn't have to be CAL FIRE. We have a seasonal wildland program. So there's also, when you go on that government jobs, you can find all the job options that are available. So we have FSA 1s, which is a fire suppression aid 1, 2s and 3s at our department. 1s is seasonal, 2s and 3s are permanent. We also will sponsor our FSAs for paramedic school, as long as ambulance operators. So you have AMR, you have Lynch, you have all these, who else is out here? Falk. So you guys have all these other ambulances out here.
Ambulance.
With a Z, yeah, with a Z. So when you guys have all of these opportunities, once you become an EMT to apply at different ambulance companies, there are different opportunities there as well. AMR will pay for you to go to paramedic school, but you have to sign a contract saying you're gonna work for so long or pay them back for paramedic school. Our department will sponsor you for paramedic school if you're an ambulance operator, EMT. We also will hire firefighter paramedic trainees, which means you're an EMT, you apply, after you finish probation, we send you to paramedic school. That's your job. So that's the model that LA County, LA City have done for years. Long Beach has done that. I went to paramedic school with some guys from Long Beach. So there's a lot of different
There's also scholarships.
Yeah.
It's just like college, okay? Do not forget, if you want to go to UCLA, it's crazy expensive, but it's a great program. There's scholarships, okay? And like the answer is no unless you ask.
Yeah.
Okay, I live by that motto, so.
Okay. Also, if you get a job as an EMT just to get experience, try to go with one that does delivery systems with the fire service.
Runs 911, yeah.
Instead of just doing interfacility transports.
Yeah. Okay, do's and don'ts. something that I would do, I would take off these earrings. Even though they're pretty subtle, I would take off any jewelry other than a wedding ring and maybe a watch. If it's an Apple Watch, I might even take that off or put it on Do Not Disturb. I would wear my hair either back and in a low bun or in a high bun or in a braid, something that is back and up off the collar, which would be similar to how you would have to look for every day during the academy, okay? So it depends on the department policy how you have to wear your hair, and we can talk about that in a second. I would wear a suit. I would wear a button-up shirt underneath that suit. You don't have to wear a tie if you're not a man. If you want to wear a tie, you can. But I would get a full suit with slacks and a jacket that match. You can wear any shoes, these would be fine. Something that's gonna be comfortable.
Not a heel.
Yeah.
I mean a small heel, not
A small heel, yeah. We're not
sexy.
wearing prom, homecoming 5-inch platforms, okay? Nothing that you're gonna trip on. Let's make ourselves as
And those for
comfortable.
workouts too, please. Do not wear short shorts, sheer shorts and pink lipstick when you're going to work out, okay? It seems obvious, okay? I spent a lot of time trying to dress like a guy and trying to make people forget that I was a guy. They're gonna notice that you're a girl plenty, okay? I'm not saying that that worked or that that's helpful. There's no need to wear tight clothes, you know? They know you're a girl.
Yeah.
It's crystal clear.
Can I answer your question?
Yeah.
No, and one last thing, makeup would be
Yes.
neutral. So we're not gonna wear a red lip on that day. You might look great in a red lip, but we're not gonna do it on interview day, okay? So something that's gonna be
Make sure
neutral.
your suit is not tight. I think, because we run an interview prep class, and we make people show up in what they're gonna wear, and then we critique them, okay? And it's invaluable. So find something, I'm a detail girl, so Nordstrom Rack is a great place to find suits. They
Express
also tailor for free at the Rack, okay? So don't forget that. You can buy a man's suit and get it tailored to a girl. Don't make it too foofy. I think black or navy. I like to go classic, okay? You're trying to fit into something that is very traditional. In the past, they did not want you there, okay? I mean, I'm speaking from my personal experience, okay? So, I personally think to put like a shine on regular shoes shows that you get it, that you know what you're in for, and that like you got some insight information.
So I have to have a really good support system. So my husband is not a firefighter. He does work from home. That provides us a lot of flexibility. He didn't used to though, so it's been a blessing for him to be able to work from home. But for that, at one point I had 2 nannies. I had my mom and another nanny. I was working in Hesperia and I lived in Rancho and with the relief train, so I don't get to go home till somebody comes and relieves me. So if they were coming from somewhere down in the valley to come to relieve me, I couldn't get home till 9 or 9:30. At that point, our 2 older kids had to go to school a little bit farther away because they're my stepkids. So I had to have a nanny just come watch my baby until when my husband left till I came home. So one thing that I like to say about this career is it's all figure outable. If you have a problem, it's like on a fire. Sometimes things don't go out the way we want them to go out. Sometimes the car doesn't cut the way we want the car to cut when we're trying to extricate a victim. You have to just think outside the box and create that solution for yourself and everyone around you. So I think that pertains to personal life as well within this career. Everything's figure outable. So if you want to be a mom, if you want to be a husband, if you want to be a wife, if you want to be a dad, you can figure it out. You just have to align yourself, pick a good spouse, right? Align yourself with the right support system, and you can make it work.
Also tell people what your intention is. The more people that you tell that you want to be a firefighter, it's amazing that you get hooked up with a network. Oh my gosh, I know somebody that blah, blah, blah. I was out to coffee with somebody and they're like, oh, my nephew wants to be a firefighter. Oh, do you know him? I knew him already. You know, you never know who's going to be a resource for you. That's why I said take that EMT class, start building friendships. It's a teamwork. That's why I love the Women's Fire Alliance. I need help. I don't, but I mean, if I needed help with care, I just tell the group, right? Tell as many people as you can, get the help you need, let people know what you need. You can't read minds, okay? I'm having trouble with this. That's why we have the Women's Fire Alliance. That's why it's so amazing. You share what you're having a problem with, and we probably have a solution. We probably went through it.
The nice thing about our jobs is that we just need a butt in the seat, so you can have an early relief, so you can leave to get home to your family. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like a 9-to-5 job, they don't care if you don't show up, nobody's doing your job. But for us, if we just have somebody else show up, stay, whatever, then we can leave.
And a lot of times too, that can be vacation, holiday time, things like that. We also have sick time. Some departments just have PTO, which is paid time off, but you can also use time trains. So that also depends on relationships. So you need to have good relationships with your coworkers. You need to do them a solid sometimes, and then they'll do you a solid. Sometimes you'll do them a solid and they won't, and you're like, I'm not doing that again. So we've all been there with the time train, I think. But so there are options that you have for those things too. I think returning to work after I had a baby was probably one of the hardest things I've done in my career. I was on 4896 at that time, so 2 days on, 4 days off. And then we actually annexed to another agency. So I used to work for a small 4-station department, and then I went to, a 48-station department. So I've seen both sides of that spectrum. But what I found is when I came back, I was actually off a little bit longer because of some complications. My brother stepped up and they donated time to me. They donated almost 2 months of time so I could stay home with my baby. So.
Also bigger requirements.
Well, and to be honest, working at a full 4-station department, I was an explorer there, I was a reserve there. I never thought that we would have been annexed, but it also depends, you guys met a city council. It depends on that relationship with the city council. It depends on the votes from the citizens. So it depends on how the care that you give to those citizens as well. Sometimes you give great care and still just happens. But just keep that in mind when you're looking at a city. Look at the finances. Look at any pending lawsuits. Things like that can actually make a difference in your 30-year career. You're never going to be one of the guys. You're not.
Yeah.
I don't care what your orientation is. I don't care what your pronouns are. I don't care what you dress like. I don't care what your haircut is. You are never going to be one of the guys, ever.
So what does it feel like in the fire, like because like growing up, I was the person, like I only had guy friends.
Yeah.
Like, growing up, I never felt like the girl. I always just felt like these are my friends and that this is just what we do. Like, obviously I know I'm a girl.
That's probably
I'm
gonna
not-
translate.
So
Yeah.
and I just feel like that's how I've always gotten down, but like, am I now gonna be looked at as like the girl because I'm not in the circle yet? Or is it like I'm gonna have to fight to get in the circle? I just don't know how like the dynamics work. I've never had to fit in. I played sports, I just have been that person, so I've never.
It might be a little bit more natural for you in
Okay.
some circumstances. So I think it's going to be individually dependent.
Okay.
And it's gonna be station dependent,
Yeah.
and you're probably gonna go through all of it.
Okay.
The thing is like, there's gonna be times when you're gonna be shocked, because I was also like, I was student council president, I'm like everybody's friend, but become what you would wanna be friends with.
Gotcha.
If I go into a fire station, I'm talking on the phone, I don't give a crap about anybody else, then are they gonna wanna hang around with me? It doesn't matter if I'm a boy or a girl or an alien, okay? If I start like talking about politics, talking about religion, if I'm extremist in any sort of way, shape, or form, even in my, like, I'm a girl, okay? You know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
Just become the person that you would want to hang around with. It's got to be neutral. We do live together. It is 24 hours. That's not an excuse for bad behavior, though. I know the LA City Fire Department has been getting away from saying it's a family, because as we've all seen in, like, I don't know if you're into true crime, but we do some weird things for our families. We lie, we cheat, we steal, we cover up, we act badly with our families, okay? So we're a team. So you want to start thinking about becoming the best teammate for somebody else. And I know that everything changed for me when I started realizing, because I'm still a firefighter paramedic, I did not up in rank because frankly I just like to travel and I didn't want the extra responsibility for very little more pay. But when I realized that if you become a good employee for your supervisor, your job is to make them look good and make their job easy.
As a supervisor, I agree with that. So if I have a firefighter that works hard, that does things without me having to ask, I appreciate that, and that's going to be relayed on their WPE, their work performance evaluation, because I have to write that. And at that point, we're not friends. I'm their supervisor, right? So I want somebody who's going to make my life easier, and I, in turn, will try to make my boss's life easier, because everyone has a boss. And then I will also try to shield and protect my crew from things that they don't need to deal with, okay, that I can handle on my own at my supervisory level. The other thing I would say is maintain those friendships from the outside. You still have family, from the outside, you still have friends from the outside. It's kind of a conundrum. You're seeking approval, but you don't want to be dependent on their approval. You're seeking approval for probation, during the tower, how you pass things, right? You want gold stars, you want 100%, you're seeking approval. And then when you're done with probation, you still want to seek approval, you want to do a good job, but your validity isn't dependent on somebody else's approval or acceptance in that sense. And so you'll be fine, everyone's gonna be fine, and you figure it out, and what happens too is we have shift bids. And at some point, somebody shuffles the deck or throws it up in the air, and you kind of gravitate towards the people that are your people, are your speed. Like, you'll find all the pickleball players are with the pickleball players, and all the
same.
Yeah,
The
all the
dirt
Dodger
riders.
fans are over there, all the dirt bike guys are over there, girls are over there. So you'll find that. It just kind of takes a little while to sort itself out.
Can I add on to that? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, so I was gonna say, there is a culture in the fire service that was born way before any of us. So you may have these relationships with certain people and then get to the fire service and say, I don't understand how I cannot click with these people. And you may be clicking with them, they may say, no, we get along great with you, but for some reason they don't invite you the way they invite everybody else to go out after work or whatever. Like Andrea's saying is, lean into, don't keep seeking that approval because it's just not there. And a lot of times you have chosen those outside friends to bond with, right? You're not choosing the people at work. Those are preset. And your job is to get along with them so you can do your job very well. If there's like a culture of very alpha men, we'll say, you may find it difficult because they're not the friends they're not what you're used to, right? And they may naturally find some differences in who you are just because of your gender. Just don't let it get to you. It does not mean that you're not worth it, that your value is not any less. It's just the way those people feel, and lean heavily outside. And I feel like that's why the Women's Fire Alliance really began, is because that we all were like in silos going through this stuff and didn't realize that
it was universal.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm not crazy. This is the way
It actually
is.
does
Oh,
happen.
Okay. Yeah.
And also find ways to relieve your own stress.
Yeah.
Everybody has, like, I'm like I said, a detail person, a ritualistic person. I've found weird ways to relieve my stress, and it could be something simple, like I used to carry rose water spray, and after something stressful, or if because tears are another thing. Okay, there's a couple of universal truths. One is get used to a sports bra, because you're gonna live in a sports bra for the rest of your damn life. Okay, you gotta sleep in sports bras. It sucks. Okay, I love it. I hate it, but anyways, but also tears. Like, I am a very easy crier. Okay, you saw that city council member, right? It's awkward, right? Did anybody else feel? I felt awkward, but that's me. Okay, you got to figure out what your game face is. You got to figure out what you got to think about to stop tears. Okay, this is skills that you need to practice.
And be okay with them. If
Yeah,
they happen.
and find out ways to relieve your stress.
There's not a separation in the fire service. We're all firefighters, first and foremost.
There used to be, there's like, okay, so like when you're doing the biddle, there's a ladder on the wall, and you have to take it off and then walk around and then put it back on. And so I saw some of the women do it, and I've talked to them, and they're like, they pull it to the edge and pull it to the edge, and they lift up on the front and lift up on the back and walk around. And so they're like, this is how women do it. And I was like, this is how I do it. And then I walk around. So just because of my height, I do it differently than they're thinking this is how women do it, because they're generally a little shorter. If that makes sense.
Okay, and then
I wrote an article, and it's called "I'm Not One of the Guys and It's a Good Thing."
Okay.
So we gotta stop thinking of ourselves. I'm not a man.
Yeah.
I'm not the same stature as him. I don't have the same physical characteristics as him. I'm not gonna have the same strengths, but I'm also not gonna have the same weaknesses, right?
Right.
So we have to start thinking about it differently, and it's the narrative that you're telling yourself.
Right.
So start focusing on those strengths. So rather than, I kind of sucked at pull-ups, what I'm gonna say is, I could have improved a little bit on my pull-ups. The next time I go, I know I'm gonna get more.
Talk to me after we'll
Yeah.
talk about pull-ups.
Yeah, and so, the things that you're telling yourself. So you're creating, already before you get there, you're creating a narrative of dissension in your head about when you hit the floor. Do you hear that? Because I hear it clear as day. So you need to stop. Yes, you want to prepare yourself. Yes, you want to ask the questions. I think those are great. But you wanna start thinking about what you want it to look like and how you want yourself to look like in that role. And figuring out the only part that you can control is you. You're not gonna control anyone else. You're not gonna control the calls, you're not gonna control the response, you're not gonna control when it comes in. You're not gonna control who your supervisor is, what station you're assigned to. You're gonna have zero control over it. The only thing that you can control is your attitude and your effort. So that's on you, and that's on you every single day.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's on you after a bad call, it's on you after a good call, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So when we start thinking about these things, let's not spin it into the scenario that's doom and gloom ahead of time.
Yes, ma'am.
One step at a time, like Cinnamon said, we'll figure it out when we get there. And just know that it might happen, but guess what? You're gonna be okay,
Yes, ma'am.
all right?
There are way more good times, camaraderie, fun
Yeah.
things you're doing with your friends on the job than anything else.
One thing that I'll say that made my life a lot easier, I will make friends with the spouses because I don't want them to be intimidated by me. I'm spending a lot of time with their husband, their boyfriend, whoever. So once I became friends with the spouses, and specifically as a captain, you want your daughter, you want your son, you want your wife to come by? Absolutely, bring them by. I want them to meet my husband. I want them to meet my kids. So then there's a personal aspect to it, and they see that we have our family unit over there, and they have their family unit over there. So they feel a level of comfortability. I would help them shop for Christmas presents. I'm like, what does your wife want? Let's spin this up, right? Now get her something else, get her bigger. So I want to be a friend to them, so then they can have, it can make my life easier, it can make the guy's life easier. If they're gonna bid with me, they know that it's not gonna be an issue, right? So a lot of that comes into play.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me just say real quick, I know we're closing up. I will write my email address.
Everybody's.
For sure, email me if you want. I do, because you asked a specific question about interviews, and I think we didn't spend a lot of time with that.
So
And
much
that's-
information.
Yeah, there's so much information, but LA City actually has a one-page front and back flyer about interviews that's amazing. Goes from everything from what are adaptive skills, what are content skills, how to organize, how to even answer, how to structure your opening statement, all that stuff. So if you want to get into specifics about that, I actually took an interview class in Long Beach years ago when I was first starting out, and then they did a mock interview, like mass class, and it was through Long Beach too. So just look around, these classes are out there. I will email you back with this handout if any of you want it as a bonus for you showing up here.
Mock interviews are so
But also
important.
don't forget about the Women's Fire Alliance.
Well,
Goes for men too.
Stephanie probably has a QR code in the back where you can enter your email, and so you can get connected with a mentor. I'll also put my email and my cell phone up there as well. And if you guys have any questions further beyond this, we can always connect. We can put you in a group text with other cadets that are interested here as well. So you guys can meet each other virtually at least, and then you guys can bounce things off of each other. Hey, I'm applying here. Hey, there's this class here. So you guys have a network for yourselves as well.
Indeed.
Thank you for your attentiveness and your questions.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.